Hi there, thanks for joining me on another adventure. So today we are in Stockgrove. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael and I am just a little lad enjoying myself in the woods. So today's plan is to find somewhere, throw up a tarp and have a little bit of lunch. Maybe have a little fire too and just chat about the world. So here we are. This is slightly lesser part used. What is that? Should we go exploring, see what is over there? Come and join me. Could just be a fallen tree. Certainly something interesting over there though. Let's have a look. There are a couple of abandoned cars in here. Let's see if it's one of those. It is! Some sort of car, some sort of vehicle. What could it be? Looks like a van. Oh, we've got a bit of a ditch to cross first. Pop, pop. There you have the little trail that goes one end to the other. So this used to be used a lot for game and hunting, but now it's part of the Stockgrove Park, Rushmere Park, so it's managed. It's an old van. What is it? Huh. Some sort of old Vauxhall. Someone misses it, obviously. Been here a while, that's for sure. It's a bit rusty. You can see all the way through. Someone's got a saw up there too. Oh well. There you have it, an old Vauxhall van in the woods. It's been a while. Alright, let's get a wiggle on, see what else we can find. I'll bring you back in a minute. Alright, we're a little bit further in now. It's not a huge woods, this one. It's quite small. It does get used by dog walkers quite a bit. Not as much as the main part of Stockgrove. If you know this area, just Google Stockgrove. And this is a little place called Kingswood. It's just the other side. You do get horses up here, and I say the dog walkers. I've been up here a few times, done some wild camping here in the evenings. It's quite nice, it's very remote. It's also good just for a day camp as well. And the place we're going to head to, there's a little pond. I'll show you that. And nice little flat area where we can make a fire as well. And if we sit quietly, you might see some deer along the way. So yeah, I'll bring you back in a mo. Off this part of the track, start heading a little bit further into the woods now. This part is really, really muddy. You've really got to keep an eye on where you're stepping and making sure you don't fall over as well, which is why I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at the floor. That's a bit better. It's a bit dry here. It's a bit less churned up. Alright, so there is a bit of a road as well, which unfortunately can't be avoided here in the UK. So if you hear road noise, you know, sorry about that. A bit more of a water step over here. Pop, pop, pop. I'm actually rocking these Decathlon boots. They're the MT100 Quencher boots, and they're waterproof, and they are really, really good. They are really good. I'm stepping in some water here, and these are holding up really, really well. So if you want a good pair of affordable boots, check out the Decathlon waterproof boots. Not super expensive, but they do the job really, really well. So here we are at the pond. I'm just going to turn you around. Okay, here we are. So we have a pond there. It's nice. In the summer times it's normally quite low, but obviously it's rained a lot these last few weeks and months. So there's plenty of water for the animals. So I'm actually going to set up the other side of the pond here. This side is lower, so it's quite wet today. I have camped in there in my hammock a few times. It's really lovely in there. But it's a bit wet today, so I'm going to bring myself up into the higher part of the pond. Just going to head into there a little bit, and then I'll bring you back. So I'm going to put up a little tarp shelter, and I've got a little chair as well, a little table. I'm going to make it quite homely. So yeah, just join me while I set up this little camp, and then have a bit of a chat, maybe have a bit of lunch as well. Here we are then, shelter's all set up. I don't think there's much chance of rain, but it's always best to be prepared, isn't it? So I've got my little chair that you saw me putting together. That's from Decathlon. Got a little table here. Big fan of this, Chinese special. So we're going to have a little bit of lunch in a bit. It's now just gone 12, so I'm going to get my lunch on now. And have a little cup of tea and just enjoy a couple of hours here in the woods in the peace and quiet. Wonderful. Yeah. See you in a minute when I get the lunch on. So my water's boiling for me coffee. I'm using the Trangier, nice and simple. And I've got some fresh coffee here. And I use one of these little filters as well. These are really smart. And it unfolds. Sits on top of your cup, like so. And some coffee, keeping it fresh. Spoon. Just take this, set this off, save the fuel. So I didn't bring a lot of fuel with me today because I'm only out here for a couple of hours, but I do have some firewood. So what I'm going to do is when the fuel's all gone, I just make a little fire so I can have another brew a bit later on. I've got some food to heat up, as I said, which is actually leftovers from a stew we had a couple of days ago. And I put it in one of those silver Nylar bags. A couple of spoons of coffee in there. There we go. You can use any coffee you like, any sort of fresh coffee. Grind wise, this is quite fine. It's more espresso, but this little device is really quite smart. It's got a very fine mesh, so you won't get too many bits. I've been using it for some time. It's not it's not giving me any grief. It doesn't make a dirty coffee. It's really nice, if you're a coffee weirdo like myself. Okay. So say all we do is we get a little hot water, and then you pour the smallest amount on, and then you just slowly let that drain through in its own time. I only boil really as much as water as I ever need. I try not to boil excess water. So I measured it out before putting it on. Cool, we'll just let that slowly drip through. So what I've also just done is gone down to the pond there, and I've got some water from the pond. Now I'm going to filter that, and then I'm actually going to use that to boil the bag of food that I brought along with me in another pot. So I've got a bigger pot here that I'm going to boil some water. So I'm just going to spend 5 minutes filtering that. The filter I've got here is kind of a bit of an unbranded thing. Is a Amazon Special. I again, I've been using it for quite some time, and it's done really well. I took it to Wales with me, and I've used it just drinking straight out of the streams in Wales with no problems at all. Normally I boil. I always recommend you boil your water, but sometimes it needs must. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to filter that through, and then I will bring you back when we're putting dinner on. So there we have it. The water's on. It's filtered. As I say, I'm not going to drink it. I just filtered it to get rid of any of the particles. Really just so that when it's in the bag, it doesn't put too much crap on my bag, if I'm honest with you. So this is just a stew that was made at home by my lovely mother-in-law. It's a beef stew, got some potatoes and carrots in there, and then I say put it in one of these Ziploc nylon style bags. You can heat seal these as well, but I don't have a heat sealer, so I've just left it with the Ziploc on. Compress all the air out before you seal it, so that when you do fold it in half, it doesn't burst. Fold it like so. I'm just going to stuff it in my little pot there. There you go. There's enough water that it's almost up to the brim, and then I'm going to stick a little lid just on top to keep that heating. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll bring that water up to the boil, and then I'll take it off the boil and then leave the pot in that hot water for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then turn it halfway, give it a bit of a squish around as well, and get as much heat into that bag as possible. But because it's cooked, it's really not that important. I've also got like a super long spoon so I can reach the bottom. Nothing worse than using a tiny little spoon to try and get to the bottom of your dish. So I've got a couple of these. This one's a little spork, and this one's just a little spoon. Really like those as well. So we're just going to let that come to the boil, have a little sip of my fresh brewed coffee, and enjoy the nature while it's here. I haven't seen anyone yet since I've been here in this little area. It's really peaceful. There are some paths. There's a path that runs along the end, and it creates little squares. So each area is like it's a bit of a grid, if you like, I guess. But most people sort of walk their dogs to the other end where it's a bit drier. So over here it's quite wet, so it's perfect. Yeah, it's really nice. Been coming here for some time, a few years now. Yeah. So I've wild camped a few times. It's really lovely. So lunch is nice and hot, and my fire is ready as well. I've got a little Lixada firebox there, just prepped up. I've cleared the earth below it, so there's no risk of fire. I like to bring my own logs as well. There's my little logs. There's my firebox, all ready to go. I do cheat. There's a fire starter in the bottom of that as well, and a little bit of oily rag that I've had around in the garage. So I bring a little bit of that, just helps to get the fire going. As I say, my lunch is now ready, so I'm going to enjoy that, and then I'll get the fire started and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I'm in no rush today. It's a lovely day out. I've got absolutely nowhere to be. So just going to sit and chill out. Cool. That was so much tastier than those ready-made meals from Wayfair and the likes. Definitely recommend you make your own food. Bags themselves from Amazon. Food from your own kitchen. So much better. And I've also bought myself, because it's Easter, got a little hot cross bun here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the flames to die down a little bit on the fire there. I'm going to give it a bit of a grill. I've got a little griddle plate for my fire. It didn't come with it, I just found something that works. It did come in 2 pieces and it folded in half. So I just took it in half because I only need 1 piece. I'm going to lay that on top of the fire there when it dies down a bit and just toast me hot cross bun. Toasted hot cross buns on a fire. It's a win from me. So good. I've got these little tongs as well. They double up as a pot holder. Work really well. But they're sprung loaded, so that when you use them as a pair of tongs, they open up. I like those. Unfortunately, when they turned up, they didn't have the little grooves in. So Graham, thankfully, put a few grooves in for me. So now they work perfectly like tongs as well. Really good. Highly recommended. Amazon special. Okay, so it seems like the rains are coming. So I think that's my cue to call it a day. Clouds are starting to get a bit darker up there as well. All right, thanks so much for joining me today on this little adventure out in the woods. If you are thinking about going wild camping and you're not sure how you'd feel, get out into your local woods for a day. Spend a few hours out there. Just find a space that you know is quiet and just sit there and see how many people come along. And if anyone comes along, gauge their reactions. Most of the time, nobody really cares what you're up to as long as you're not misbehaving. People walk by, they probably give you a wave. You know, some people are interested in camping and the outdoors and don't want to talk about it themselves. So if you're one of those people, just get out there, get into your local woods, have a campfire, have a cup of tea, have a bit of lunch, and just enjoy the moment. And you'll find that most of these fears are just in your own mind. Stay until sunset, leave at sunset, leave as it's dark, take a torch, know your way out. But you'll be surprised what you learn by just coming out and sitting in the woods for a few hours. Plus, it's really peaceful as well. All right, once again, thanks so much. I've been Michael, and it's been such a pleasure hanging out with you guys today. Cheerio.